a city. How did it transform into the center of the world in just 260 years? In 1790, there were horse-drawn carriages on muddy streets. In 1850, the shadows of skyscrapers began to rise. Today, it is a giant that never sleeps for millions of people. But the real question is, has New York changed? Or has it simply started living faster? Let's begin to examine this together. Don't forget to watch until the end of the video and subscribe. New York in the 1790s. Let's take a look at the streets. Close your eyes. You're walking through 1790s New York. Open your eyes. Narrow stone streets. Houses huddled together. The streets are a chaotic mix of horse-drawn carriages, laborers, merchants, and slaves. The air is salty, filled with the smell of the harbor, animal dung, and tobacco smoke. If it rains, the roads turn to mud. The noise of the harbor, the clanging of ropes, the shouts of workers, and the cries of seagulls. The city's pulse beats here. At night, the city changes. Dark and foggy streets. Songs come from taverns in the distance, and a fear of crime hangs in the air. This is 1790s New York, a city very different from yours. Let's examine health. Today, New York, one of the world's most vibrant cities, was a haven for disease in the 1790s. There was no sewage system. The streets were filled with garbage and sewage. A terrible stench prevailed, especially during the summer months. The greatest danger was yellow fever, which targeted thousands with high fever, vomiting, and weakness. The city descended into chaos. The treatments given by doctors were dangerous in themselves. Bloodletting, leech therapy, and dangerous drug mixtures were common. Life in New York in the 1790s was not only difficult but also extremely risky. Let's hear about a day in Thomas's life.
New York, 1790. As the sun rose, the harbor bells awakened the city. Our house was crowded and cold. Clean water was unreliable, so everyone drank light alcoholic beverages. The streets were chaotic. Cars stuck in the mud, shouting fishermen, and a new struggle every day. The harbor was in complete disarray. Ships arriving from the black ropes brought life to the city. Merchants debated wars and prices while a new constitution was being discussed in the streets. Politics was everyone's talk. Taverns filled up with the first light of night. Here there was not only drinking but also singing, games, and sometimes fights. When the drink subsided and the fog rose over the harbor, the heart of New York beat for a new morning.
What was the state of the economy? In the 1790s, New York's ports were growing like a storm. This chaotic energy was laying the financial foundations of a nation. The city traded with the world through the port of New York. Every ship that arrived brought hope for the future, but this wealth remained solely for the riches of merchants and bankers. Dock workers and children toiled in harsh conditions. Slavery was still legal. Stocks were bought and sold on Wall Street. Alexander Hamilton's dream of a strong national financial system was coming to life. Amidst the names and challenges, New York quickly became America's greatest iconic economic center. Did you like the video? I think I heard you say yes. What are you waiting for? Like and subscribe. Next up, 1850s New York. The streets. The New York of the 1850s looked nothing like the glamorous city we know today. Its streets were thick mud pits. Like a kaleidoscope, the city was filled with Irish and German immigrants, turning the streets into a mix of different languages and cultures. There was no proper sewer system, only a heavy and unpleasant smell lingering around every corner. Yet amid all these hardships, the foundations of a revolution were being built. Port trade and finance would soon reshape the city. Those muddy streets were becoming the groundwork for the modern metropolis that would one day be filled with the world's most famous skyscrapers. let's examine modern healthcare. The New York of the 1850s was nothing like the city we know today. Public health was in terrible condition. Immigrant apartment buildings were overcrowded and lacked ventilation, making it easy for diseases like tuberculosis to spread. Clean water and sewer systems were almost non-existent. Streets became sources of infection and disease. Cholera and typhoid epidemics swept through the city. There were no antibiotics and no germ theory yet. Treatments were often ineffective. Yet this dark period also created an opportunity to lay the foundations of the modern public health system. The roots of today's healthcare systems began there. William will tell us about a typical day in his life. Listen to him.
The sun had barely risen when I woke. Our small apartment is never quiet, and the city never sleeps. A little bread and soup for breakfast, then it's time to face the mud and noise of the streets. The city is a storm of people, all searching for a new life. The work is hard, but if we do not work, we do not eat. All day long we carry crates. Our hands are raw, but we keep going. This is the price of hope. They live in an entirely different world. Meanwhile, sickness haunts our neighborhood, and a doctor's visit is a luxury we can't afford. By evening, I'm so tired I fall asleep almost immediately. But no matter how hard life is, there is still hope. Because everyone says the same thing. New York is growing. And maybe someday I too will build a better life here.
Economy in the 1850s. In the 1850s, New York was witnessing the birth of an economic giant. But how was this incredible growth happening? First, there was the power of the port. By receiving people and goods from Europe, New York had become the country's major distribution center. Wall Street was also rising. Banks were opening and investments in railroads were increasing. The foundations of the world's financial capital were being built. Industries such as textiles, shipbuilding, and ironworking were rapidly expanding, creating a huge demand for workers. This demand attracted millions of Irish and German immigrants. Their labor became the city's greatest source of strength. Finally, the expansion of railroads connected New York to the rest of the country and accelerated trade even more. Ports, industry, finance, and immigrant labor together transformed New York into a massive economic center in the 1850s. Since you've watched this far, you liked my video and subscribed. Or haven't you subscribed yet? Anyway, let's get to the present day. Let's go out into the streets. New York City. Taking one step here feels like standing at the center of the world's busiest stage. Something is always happening. From 5 in the morning to deep into the night, the city never sleeps. Towering skyscrapers cast shadows over the streets, while giant screens light up the night with neon colors. Every corner feels like a different world. People from every culture on Earth walk the same avenues together. When evening arrives, the city takes on a new life. Bridges glow with lights, and the skyline becomes breathtaking. New York is luxury and chaos combined. Fast, crowded, and endlessly alive. A metropolis that never stops. What is healthcare like in New York today? Is New York the peak of healthcare or one of its greatest challenges? Here, some of the world's best specialists and most advanced technologies fight diseases every day. Mental health, organ transplants, cancer treatment. Boundaries are constantly being pushed, but the cost of this care is extremely high. That's why health insurance has become a necessity of life in New York. High stress, pollution, and the fast-paced lifestyle also exhaust both body and mind. Anxiety and depression are among the growing problems. New York is a contradiction in healthcare, equipped with cutting-edge technology, yet filled with people struggling every single day. Linda will tell us about a typical day in her life. Listen to her.
When I wake up, New York is already wide awake. The city that never sleeps starts its day before you do. It's a race against time. a symphony of sirens and footsteps. We're all just trying to keep up. Even after all this time, walking between these giants still feels impressive. The city never slows down. As the sun sets, the city transforms. The energy doesn't fade, it just changes color. By the time I get home, it's late. But outside, the city is still alive. Because New York never truly sleeps.
Are you curious about how the New York economy is doing right now? New York is the world's greatest financial center. But is that wealth shared by everyone? On Wall Street, the global economy trembles with every movement. Millions of dollars change hands every second. Beyond finance, technology, art, and tourism keep the city alive. Millions of people come here chasing their dreams. Every year, millions of tourists bring energy to every sector, from hotels to restaurants. But these opportunities come with a heavy price. New York is one of the most expensive cities in the world. Even as an economic powerhouse, income inequality is impossible to ignore. New York is a city where wealth and struggle exist side by side.